sticking him with his spear.
The faithful believed that Longinus, who is said to have suffered from extremely poor vision, was rewarded with a miracle for his act of mercy.
The blood ran down the spear, and when it touched his hands, he touched his eyes with the blood on them, and he was cured of his blindness.
The story of this miracle isn't in the Bible. It's recorded in books known as the Apocrypha. The Apocrypha are accounts of the lives of Jesus, Mary, and the saints that elaborate on and sometimes contradict New Testament stories. Like other relics of the Passion, the spear resurfaced with Emperor Constantine. Some historical documents suggest that around 330 AD, he claimed possession of the spear and put it to a most unusual purpose.
As Constantine is laying out the city that became Constantinople, he repeatedly said in a loud voice that all who were with him could hear, "I follow in the footsteps of he who goes before me," meaning apparently Jesus. And as he's laying it out, he's carrying the spear with him, and he's claiming that Jesus is leading him around, and it's with the spear, showing him, you want the streets here, you want the gardens over here, you're going to build the chapel here.
Legend has it that the spear passed from the hands of Constantine to Charlemagne, founder of France and Germany. Today, there are at least 4 spears with claims to be the one that passed through their hands, but the one with the best documented lineage lies in the treasury of Vienna's Hofburg Palace. It may be the oldest of all.
Die Lanze, die heute in der Schatzkammer liegt,
The lance that is located in the treasury has been handed down since the 10th century as a part of the insignias of the Holy Roman Empire. And thus, basically every important emperor of the Roman Empire had it in his hands.
dieses Reiches in Händen.
It was this spear that supposedly drew the attention of a young artist named Adolf Hitler. In 1908, some historians believe he beheld it and encountered his destiny.
He has an epiphany. He has a past life experience. The spear tells him, I know who you were, and reveals himself to himself.
The holy relic, which had been possessed by Charlemagne and the Habsburgs, the rulers of the First and Second Reichs, or empires, fell into the hands of Hitler when he ruled the Third Reich. Journalists report that the spear was presented to the Führer at a dinner in Vienna 4 days after Germany annexed Austria on March the 9th, 1938. After Hitler's Third Reich crumbled, the spear remained at the Vienna palace. But is it a true relic?
In 1993, Dr. Robert Feather, a metallurgist and a Bible scholar, he was allowed to conduct tests on the spear. And he concluded that the spearhead was probably forged in the 6th or 7th century.
Of course, whether this ancient relic is literally the spear that pierced Jesus is to some extent irrelevant. Its power lies in the belief that millions of people have brought to it over many hundreds of years. Yet another relic of the Passion that has inspired the faithful for centuries is a fragile piece of cloth that seems to bear an image of Christ, and that some call miraculous. No relic has had such veneration paid to it that people throw themselves on the ground, most of them with tears in their eyes and with lamentations and cries of compassion. So wrote the 16th century French philosopher Michel de Montaigne about a revered relic now on display in a church in the village of Manopolo, Italy. Veronica's veil, a 6.5 by 9.5 inch cloth bearing the likeness of Jesus. Made of a rare fiber called byssus, woven from the rock-clinging threads of ocean mussels.
It's a very, very ancient fabric. It's a very precious fabric you find in the graves of pharaohs. It is a key relic of all relics. It's not only the mother of images, but also a mother of relics.
When the devoted pilgrims arrive, they get on their knees and start walking up the stairs leading to the crypt where the sacred image is, and they stop on each and every step to pray.
The image of Jesus looking out at the pilgrim changes depending on the light striking it. A pensive expression becomes a subtle smile. The faithful believe that this unique portrait is the result of a miracle. A miracle that occurred as the condemned Jesus marched toward Calvary. According to the Apocrypha, he encountered a pious and merciful woman named Veronica.
She follows Jesus along the Via Dolorosa, and she has a cloth that she wipes his face with. And then his facial image is miraculously transported to that cloth.
The Apocrypha describes how Veronica's veil became imbued with miraculous powers. Merely touching it was enough for imprisoned Christians to quench their thirst, the blind to restore their sight, and the dead to rise again. For many Christians today, the story of how the veil eventually found its way to Monopolo is a miracle in itself. After the Apocrypha, there are no written accounts of the veil for more than 1,000 years. Then in 1297, historical documents record how Pope Boniface VIII decreed that a mysterious veil bearing an image of Jesus be brought to Rome.
It just appears 1,000 years later. And when you get into something like that, then you raise critical questions, historical questions. You say, well, what's going on here?
For more than 2 centuries, church officials kept the veil in St. Peter's Basilica. Then, soon after 1506, when workers had rebuilt the basilica into the grand structure we know today, the veil disappeared. Locating the veil became extremely difficult because artists motivated by either piety or profit began painting copies of it across Europe. In 1629, Pope Urban VIII ordered the destruction of all the reproductions.
He delivered an edict saying, I need all the copies of the Veronica back, all of them. Those who don't deliver, they are excommunicated from the community of the church.
In 1660, the veil acknowledged by many Christians today as genuine appeared in Monopolo.
According to the tradition, the image got here in a mysterious way. A pilgrim came with this package containing the veil with the sacred image and entrusted it to a doctor. And after delivering this veil, the pilgrim remained unknown and disappeared and was not seen again. So from this it was argued that he might have been an angel.
For those who believe in the rich traditions surrounding the veil, to look upon it is to look into the eyes of Christ. To enhance the viewer's experience, the shrine is equipped with adjustable front and back lighting.
When the light illuminates the back of the image, you can see the wounds as if they were still open, bleeding and with a shadow around. But if the image is illuminated from a different angle, the wounds are a little smaller and with little crusts. The way the image is portrayed, with its different expressions and all the rest, it doesn't seem to be painted by a human hand.
While many agree with Padre Cucinelli, many others attribute the image's different aspects to an artist's clever sleight of hand. However, Sister Blandina Pascalis Schlomer, a Trappist nun, believes fervently in the veil's authenticity. So much so that she gained permission for a transfer from her native Germany to Italy, just to be closer to it. In an effort to prove the veil's authenticity, Sister